There's music you can hear today that you would never have heard 10 or 20 years ago because of the way it's constructed and the availability of all the different sounds, you know. I mean, there's all, what could you say, a universe of sounds is open to everyone with a laptop now. People swap samples and that kind of thing. You create your own thing. You can manipulate something beyond recognition. You know, you can take someone else's music, a sample of someone else's music, and turn it inside out and make it completely unrecognisable, which you couldn't do 10 years ago even. You know, the amount of the depth of processing that you can do. Because you've got ultimate freedom, you don't quite know where to go and you can get lost as well.
Music that's coming out now has got everyone's got access to any sound they want to make, and like 10, 20 years ago people were limited essentially by the live instruments they could play, the sounds they could make with their voices, and very, very basic sampling technology. Now we've got endless sample time and things, so I think there's some really interesting records coming out, mainly the ones that are blending both of those things. Yeah, and that's a lot of stuff that I work on. It's not just straight ahead guitar music, it's got something else going on. But I think that's happening more and more now. It's not unusual to see a guitar band with a sampler or a laptop on stage, whereas it used to be something very unique. So I think it's good. I think it's really good. It means people can make the sounds in their heads a lot easier now than having to really fight to do it. You know, so you can really use your imagination, whether people are doing that in a good or a bad way all the time. The problem is, it's because it's available to so many people, there's a lot of it. There's a lot of music being thrown at us, and finding quality stuff is almost harder, but at the same time there's a lot of quality stuff there, you just need to look.
There's no way that I've chosen these four bands as being the best bands in India, because India is such a huge place with so many people, and I'm sure there's so many bands out there that we could only choose these bands from the short list, the auditions that I had, you know. But I think they're really good. I think the four bands are really good, you know. I think if they play in the UK, it'll be amazing. You know, I mean, they are different, Medusa and Indigo Children, obviously because they sing in English and they're kind of electric guitars and that kind of thing. They could easily play in the clubs in London and things. Swaratma and Advaita, I would love to see them playing the Barfly and the Monarch and the Dublin Castle and places, because I think they blow everyone away because it's just so different, you know. And even, you know, the Asian community in London, in Britain, you know, because there's a BBC Asian network in UK, a whole radio station for Asian music, and I don't think there's anything like Advaita or Swaratma on that station, because it's all beats and Bhangra and Punjabi rave kind of things, and I think they'll get quite a bit of exposure because, you know, they're quite different, and they will probably appeal to people of all ages. You know, a band like Advaita will probably appeal to young people and, I was going to say old people, yeah, people like myself or whatever, but they'll appeal to, you know, I'm sure a whole cross-section of the public, and they get quite a varied audience, you know. Yes, I think it has fulfilled its promise, and from its early stages 2 years ago and the discussions and things, and it was great to have so many bands to audition. I mean, in all I think there was about 34 different bands and things, and you know, everything's been really smooth flowing, really. You know, the bands have been good, everyone's been excited about it, and I think the end result speaks for itself. You know, I think we've got eight, 9 really good songs that, when they're put together on some kind of sampler compilation thing, I think it's going to be very impressive. So yeah, I think it's been successful. Everyone's learnt something. You know, we've certainly learnt things and experienced everything, and I think all the bands have as well.
think you always learn something working with different people. That's what I enjoy about my job, because you get to, you know, maybe you're with people for 6 months and maybe you're with them for 6 days, but you get to meet a different bunch of people and you get to work in a different environment. The fact we're working in a different country with foreign musicians has added to it as well. We've recorded instruments we've never seen or recorded before, and met people with a different culture. So you always learn from that. I think that's been the main thing. It's been fantastic from that point of view.
Yeah. And recording's it's funny because it's a kind of emotional process, really, because you know you've got singers and it's music, you know, so it's kind of expressive and emotional, and people it reflects on people's attitudes and how they're feeling at the time and stuff, and what your emotions you're trying to put across in the music. So that's probably why it can often get quite exhausting in the studio, you know, for long periods, because you're subjected to all those feelings of what the music is, and you know, as well as the kind of production or the technical kind of analysis of what's going on, of whether it's right or wrong. And then when you're mixing, it's kind of balance and what people are going to hear and how the voice is working with the music. So it's yeah, and all countries have different feelings like that. That's what you kind of take back, is a life experience, you know, of the people that we've met here and how we've got on, and you know, day-to-day things, you know. Okay, so this is what's this? This is our last day in the studio for Soundpad, and we've had a great time here in India at Yasraj Studio with all the bands and everything. And we're going home tomorrow, and yeah, it's going to be great. I hope I can come back soon, someday. That's right.
That's right. Job done. Thank you very much. Good night.